It's actually a smart play with a laptop too.
Well, no, I do that so that if that's because it takes up a lot of storage, I do that so if it stops, then I can catch it right away.
Oh, okay. And then what? Do you have to restart the whole thing, or do you?
Well, it hasn't happened yet. So.
Do you delete all the clips from before?
What do you mean?
Like, did you delete your last?
I delete because I bulk record. I delete the first two, and then I delete the first one. The second one's still on there, and then probably I'll delete that soon. But anyways, welcome to another episode of Kunya Kai. I'm Anthony, and I'm joined today with two very special guests.
After you.
My name is Colby Achardo.
And I'm Chris Accardi.
All right. So now that we have introductions out of the way, before we get into today's theme, we're gonna do a little quick run of questions to get to know the newbies. So, Colby, I'm gonna ask you a set of questions. Both of you will have similar questions, and then at the end they'll be a little bit different. So, Colby, you'll go first. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Well, I'm a little challenged in that department. So, favorite food is probably a burger with kettle cooked salt and pepper chips and a glass of Coke.
Can I do you have the buns on the burgers when you eat them?
If they're made at home, yes, but when I'm at a restaurant, not usually. No.
All right. So, favorite movie?
Any movie?
No, Colby. Only a select few.
Favorite movie is probably. That's a tough question.
I'm
making
a lot of noise.
I'm gonna have to go with Avengers Endgame though. Favorite movie.
Favorite sport?
Hockey.
Favorite sports team?
Washington Capitals.
All right. SpongeBob or Patrick?
That's also a tough question. Patrick's my favorite character growing up, but now that I'm older, I'm gonna go SpongeBob.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. That's making a lot of noise. Maybe we should shut it off.
I don't know how to.
I've been staring at it the whole time.
That's good. It's good to stay there though.
All right, best Star Wars episode.
Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. By far.
Why?
You get Anakin and Padme falling in love, and you see Anakin's roots to the dark side start to come out.
I won't lie though, the second movie I think does the best with Anakin and Padme.
Absolutely.
All right, Coke or Pepsi?
It depends. If I need a refreshing drink and I have to choose between Coke or Pepsi, I'm going Coke. If it's a hot summer day, walking on the beach or sweating on the beach, I'm like, hey, I want a soda. I love soda. I want a Coke. But if I'm just having a soda and it's like I'm at a restaurant, I'm like, all the Coke, I'm like, oh, we have Pepsi. That's fine.
All right. So now, Chris, we'll move on to you.
I hope my questions are nothing like that.
Well, the first few are the same, and then the ones after are different.
Okay.
Favorite food?
Chicken parm. Yeah, it's sweeps.
All right. Favorite sport?
To play or to watch? Actually, both are basketball, but okay. I didn't play basketball growing up.
Favorite sports team?
Celtics, I guess.
Kanye or Drake?
I mean, I listen to more Drake, but like Kanye's probably Kanye's significantly more influential, but Drake's just like a hit maker, I guess. I don't know. So I would say Drake.
All right. Best chicken sandwich?
Hot take. Well, not hot take. I'd probably still go Popeyes as one. I would actually have like McDonald's and Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich. They'd probably be like 2A, 2B. And then after that, I'm not a fan for the Chick-fil-A one, which is crazy. Wow. I know that's a steaming hot take, but I'm not a Chick-fil-A guy, if I'm being honest with you.
Clip it.
Well, you go away. What's your favorite?
Chicken sandwich. Well,
you can't eat them.
Usually the ones I make at home, just a regular Tyson chicken patty.
In
case you don't know, Colby has a lot of allergies.
Eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, and dairy.
Yep. Correct. Yes.
So, okay, last two questions for Chris. Jordan or LeBron?
Oh, you're gonna get me cooked. LeBron.
Okay. Last question.
That would take too long to explain.
I'm
not mad if you say Jordan. That's
all right.
It's 1 and 2. I don't get. You can't put anyone else in the 1 or 2 conversation.
All right. Now, all right. We'll move on to the questions and the theme of the day. So the theme of the day are the do's and don'ts on the first date. So I say we start off with some of our first date experiences. So what was your first date like?
Very first date ever.
Yes.
My very first date ever was when I was in 8th grade. So I was 14, I believe. Yeah, 14.
Yep.
And it was just a movie. Really, nothing
So you went to the movies.
special. I just went to see Finding Dory in the movie theater, and that was pretty much it.
Did you pick the movie or did she pick the movie?
She picked the movie.
All right.
You gotta let the girl pick the movie if you're going to see a movie.
All right. I didn't, but we'll get to that after. So, Chris, what was your first date ever like?
I actually don't know if I don't recall like anything until junior year. Honestly, I think maybe something like middle school, but I wouldn't even count that. Oh no, you know what? It was probably middle school, and it was. I think both middle school and my junior year was both a movie.
There we go.
I don't remember either of the movies.
You don't remember the
No,
movies?
I know I didn't pick it. I like made an attempt to pick it, and it didn't go well. It was a losing battle from the start. I guess I just did not get to pick the movie.
Well, Colby, you should know a lot about mine, considering you were there.
I drove him there.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't
paid
have.
for his ticket.
No, you did not. No,
I'm
you did not.
kidding.
I didn't want to tell my mom about it because the last time I tried going on a date, I told my mom she wouldn't let me. So I was like, I'm serious. I asked her to go. She's like, "You're not going with a stranger." I was like, "Dang." I was like, "About my life right there." But so Colby. So I asked Colby. I told my mom I was gonna hang out with Colby, and I technically was. He picked me up and went to the movies. And we were watching the movie together. He just sat a lot.
I bought my own ticket and sat in the front row.
Yeah. He sat-
When was this? I don't remember. I'm not
I
gonna.
think it was the
This-
summer
this-
of my sophomore year.
Summer going into junior year because
Yeah.
I was one of the only ones with a license, so that's how I
Yeah.
was able to
Yeah.
pick you up and drive
Interesting.
you.
And I remember I originally wasn't gonna do it either.
Yeah.
But me and Kobe, we were at Kirkbrae, and it's like a country club we went to, and Kobe's like, "Bro, you won't do it. You'll never ask her out." I was like, "I'm not." I'm like, okay, so I did. And the funny thing is, I asked her to go to the movies, right? And originally the movie was like I think one of the Fast and Furious movies, something like that. So she's like, "Oh no, I think it was a movie with The Rock or something." And I found out like a couple days before we were supposed to go that the new Jurassic World was coming out, and I wanted to watch it. I asked her. This should have been like the red flag. I asked her like, "Oh, can we watch this movie instead?" She's like, "Oh, I kind of wanted to watch the other one." I'm like, "Oh, but I really want to watch the Jurassic World movie." So we ended up going to see Jurassic World 2. But
Wasn't a bad time.
Kobe was there, and I had to make sure Kobe left early so that way she didn't
Yeah.
see Kobe.
And got there late.
Yeah.
Oh wait. So wait, he didn't pick her up.
No,
I
no,
picked
no.
Anthony up and they met there.
Yeah, I met with her there.
Oh.
And then Kobe was in-
I went in. I didn't go into the movie late. I went into the movie first
Yeah.
because I like dropped you off and then ran in, bought my ticket, and then tried to go into the movie theater as fast as possible.
And you're telling me she didn't see.
No, because I was in one of the very front rows,
Yeah.
like
Well, where were
slouched
you?
down. so
We were
no one
like
could see
towards
my
the
head.
back.
But so and
No, I
you said
remember
he
you
left
weren't.
early.
You were in the back. You were
In
in
the middle.
because that movie theater has like the lower level
Oh, wait,
and the
you're
higher
right.
level. You were more like the lower of the higher level.
Yeah, you're right.
And I was in the lower level, and I was slouched over the whole time because
But-
if you're sitting higher up, you can see the people's heads.
Well, that's
the
what I'm
lower row.
asking you. But didn't you just say he left early?
Well, as the movie was ending, to make sure we didn't run into each other as we're walking out, Kobe left first.
Yeah, but
went to his.
shouldn't he leave second? Because then he's here. You see down.
I just went to my car, I think.
No, I'm talking about
No.
leaving the theater itself, like the actual movie room. Would she not see you walking back towards the exit? If you're down here and you're here, and he leaves first, like all it takes is for
That's
her to,
also
like, go like
true.
this. I don't know if that was.
But I
supposed
think-
There
to
wasn't a
thought
lot of
out.
planning going in.
I think
but-
she probably wouldn't have noticed because it wasn't like she was looking for me.
Yeah.
I guess.
Also, I think you had like a hoodie on or something like
Yeah.
that, maybe. But
I was pretty incognito.
yeah. But speaking of that, if you were to see your friend on a date, like let's say you're going to Chili's, pick up food or whatever, and you see your friend on a date, do you go and say hi?
I don't think I would. I think I just let it.
Let it play out.
Yeah.
But you, Chris.
No, I'd probably say so. I wouldn't like say much. I'd probably go up and like dap them up because like it's gonna be awkward. You guys are gonna see each other, and whoever's on the date is probably gonna be like giving you one of these.
Yeah.
So then you kind of just walk over and like dap them up, and you just say hi to whoever they're on a date with, and you kind of just be like, "Oh, I gotta go."
Do you mention it to them after, like, hey, I saw you?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
If it's like if it's you on a date with a girl that you're just getting to know, I wouldn't come up to you. But if you were if Chris, if you were out on a date with your girlfriend, I would come up because I know both of you.
Yeah.
But if you were out on a date with someone who I didn't know, maybe you met at school or something, and I just happened to see that, I wouldn't come up to you because like that's like
You don't want to ruin it, yeah.
I don't want to ruin it. Yeah.
I would still come up to you. But like I said, I'd literally go up and be like, what's up, Cunha? Tap you up.
Well,
But
yeah,
I'd be aware of the situation, I would assume.
yeah, I wouldn't go up to somebody and like make a big deal. I'd probably be like, I'd probably walk like, yo, what's up, and then like walk away. Because then that could also open up conversation for the person on the
also
day.
true.
Oh, who was that? Oh, that was my friend. We go to this school. Blah.
Yeah.
But would you be mad though if someone like came up to you? Like if you had to choose in that moment, would you want them to come up to you and say hi or no?
I guess it would probably depend on how the date is going. Like if it's like if I need to like start a conversation, then yeah, you come up to me on a date, like you said, that will start a conversation.
Mhm.
But no, I wouldn't be mad at all.
I agree and disagree at the same time. Because, like, depending on who it is, if, for example, if it's someone I just haven't seen in a little bit, and they're like, I don't know, they might,
if it's
they
like
might
not that close of a
yeah,
person.
they might not like understand the situation and just either like say something like out of pocket and be like, oh, who's this, and then it puts
Yeah.
me in a tough spot, or they just try to like be like, oh, how you been, and then it just takes time away from the date itself.
All right.
So I can see it going either or. So depending on the person, I don't think it.
I feel like it'd be more likely to be someone you're not that close with because if one of us was on a date,
Yeah, we probably know.
it's more likely than not that we would know about it. You
That's
know?
true. We probably wouldn't mention it.
Yeah.
But
Fair.
the reason why I say that because I just remembered, Chris, you were on a date, and I remember it was me, Colby, and my cousin, and you didn't know we were there.
I had no idea. I saw his car, your cousin's car, and I knew it from the plate.
Oh.
So I thought about it, and it actually, I'm not gonna lie, it actually did start a conversation, and then I was like, I don't even know. I was like, I saw the car, and I was like, hey, that looks like cousin Nick's car, and then it was like we were talking, and I don't know. So we started talking about cousin Nick, and then next thing I know, I see someone walking in the parking lot with a baseball bat.
Basically, we had my cousin walk up to his car because he hadn't known. Because my cousin would come up for like surprises because he's like friends with all of us. Basically, my cousin came up and we were gonna surprise Chris because we saw him at the Lincoln Mall. He was on a date, and there was a baseball bat in my car, and my cousin just started walking slowly to his car with the baseball bat, and he had it in his hand like this. He's like, and then eventually Chris realized it was Nick, and we said our hellos, and then we left.
But that was fine. That started a conversation.
Yeah.
We can flip the script on you. You've been on a date before, a couple of dates.
Oh my.
Chris and I.
Yes.
Chris and I were in the same place.
I remember. I clearly remember. But never forget those.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
okay.
Those vanilla milkshakes. Never forget it. But
Mine's chocolate.
Mine's chocolate.
no, I thought it was vanilla. It was like mine's vanilla. Okay.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was one of the two. One of you guys had one or the other. I don't know.
But all right, next question. What is the worst place to go to on a first date?
Do you want to go first or want me to go first?
I don't even know where I'd start on that. I think it's gonna just depends on the person. If before you even go on a date, you should. If you're like actually going on a date to like date this person, you should have a general idea of what they're like. Like you should be talking for at least like a couple of weeks, probably. Like whether it be Snapchat, text, Instagram, whatever it is. Like so, you should have like an idea of like their personality, and should be like, oh, like shouldn't go here. Like I don't know. You should be able to balance out and see what you would think would pan out as the best option. But I don't think there's necessarily a worse first date, unless it's like a week.
Hey, listen, I got a funeral I need to go to. I need a +1. You might come with me?
Yeah, like there shouldn't be like I don't think.
Well, I mean, actually, to hop off that though, I think the worst date would be something that's meant for later in a relationship. Like, for example, I wouldn't take someone.
what?
Why'd you say it like that? No, like for example, one of the questions I asked later will involve this. You're not gonna take a girl you just started talking to like a really fancy place
That's a good
on the
point.
first
I was
date.
thinking about that.
Like you're not gonna take her. Like, you're not gonna take her to some place that you drop a ton of money on. And
I agree.
is what I feel like.
I agree.
Like you would save that for something later on in like the relationship as it develops. I don't think there's anything specifically that'd be considered the worst, but that's just the concept.
agree.
I think
agree.
possibly a movie. But like when
Considering we
you
all went to a
well
movie
no,
on
but we were like all like younger. Like what else were we gonna do?
yeah,
you know.
exactly.
But now that we're older, I feel like now yes and no to movie being bad because if it's like a movie that you have like a common interest in, like I like Star Wars and Marvel movies. If it's if someone's going on a date with a girl who likes Star Wars and Marvel movies, you could bond over that. Like if you go to a movie and go out to dinner after, that can be a conversation starter at the dinner. But if you're just going to a movie with a girl, you're not going to make a great like first impression on her. You know,
Yeah.
just like her sitting next to you watching a movie.
I definitely think what you mentioned there is the best thing to do. If you're gonna go to a movie, pair it with something. Go to like an earlier movie and
Yeah.
then go out to eat after, because then you also have the movie to talk about, and that helps with the conversation. But
That's
I
a
don't
good point. I never thought of that.
the thing is with a movie is I've always heard people think a movie's terrible, but at the same time, I feel like a movie tells you so much about the other person. Because, like, for example, let's say I pick the movie. I'm showing the person my interest. Like the day I mentioned before, I was making it very clear that I like this movie. This is something I'm interested in.
I'm actually gonna bash the movie idea. I think
Oh.
now that I'm thinking about it, because you don't talk during a movie. So like,
Yeah.
unless you do it the way that you like, you're saying like go to a movie first and then do something after. A movie kind of stinks
Yeah.
because then, especially like assuming you're going to a movie, you're probably younger anyways, and you probably have like a bedtime or something like that. Like you probably either can't drive or just got your license. Like you're not gonna stay out later. So you're gonna go to the movie and then you're gonna be like, oh, your parents are gonna have to pick you up or something like that, and you're not really gonna have a lot of time to actually talk. And not to mention, like the time you do talk is really probably just the awkward, like seeing this person or like being alone with this person for the first time. Like, so you're really not probably gonna be saying much.
Yeah, that's true. I heard though that in the defense of the sitting with someone for the movie not being able to talk, at the same time, sitting with someone that you just met for like 2.5 hours and just being next to them helps afterwards for the awkwardness. Because you're with that person for 2.5 hours and it's like you're not forced into a conversation. I don't know. They mentioned like basically just being with someone for 2.5 hours already makes you guys feel somewhat close. But
You watching YouTube videos on this?
I'm interested in No.
Where should I take a girl on the first date?
Well, okay. Well, that's the next question. What is the best place to go to on a first date?
My answer is gonna be the same exact thing for the worst. It depends on the person. You should know what they like, what they don't like. I would literally say this is where I was gonna say don't go on like a stupid fancy date or something like that because it's just pointless. If you're gonna go to like a restaurant, just go to a casual restaurant. Probably one where you don't see a lot of people actually.
Ooh, that's a good.
Yeah, because I mean, uncoincidentally, I've gone on dates in just like a common place, I guess, and I just see people. And even if it's like people, not friends that would come up to me, it's just awkward
Yeah.
because most of the time they know the other person too, and then it's just like rumors start before like even.
We're also
know
from a
anything.
small town, so for
That's
us,
true.
it's like things can spread a lot quicker.
Yeah, stuff is like we have like the mall that has like
Yeah.
everything too, which is essentially every date idea ever.
Yeah. Well, you, Cody, what do you think's the best?
I think some sort of like activity and a dinner, because that's what me and my girlfriend we went. That's what our first date was, and it it gets you like to know each other. I feel like a lot faster when you're doing something together, like an activity or something, and then after you have a time to like just talk and stuff like that.
Was it mini golf?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
called it.
So I have, in my opinion, two ideas. One was based off of research I saw, and another is based off like just something I personally think. So basically,
I have a question.
go.
What is
Can we cite this article?
I don't have it
One,
on
can
me,
we
but
say the
you can look it
article? And
up.
two, you've been doing a lot of research about dates.
Listen, I had multiple classes in college based off my communication classes
Okay.
on this subject.
Mm-hmm.
But
Fair enough.
it's also just an interesting topic in general.
It is. I agree.
But so
I don't know if I-
basically,
Look up a study on it.
no. So basically, well, I didn't go out looking for it. I eventually like found it. It
was
started
like
on
an
my For You
Instagram ad or
page.
something.
It
like
was
that.
on my For You page. All right.
Well, you get ads based on what you like talk
You're
about.
drinking
think
like a
It
about.
wasn't an ad though. All right. Anyways, so one I think is something that can be somewhat quick, like taking someone on a coffee date or a froyo date or like something like that. Something that where if you have fun, it's short and sweet. Whatever you can go on another one. But if it sucks, you're out of there quicker too. So you can enjoy yourself and like for example, if you go to get froyo, right? You're sitting down talking, eating your froyo, whatever. You could probably be there from like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the conversation. If it sucks, you're done and over with.
That's
if it's
true.
great, I mean, it's not gonna hurt you.
Mhm.
But so the one backed up by research. So basically, and there's a common saying: people don't remember what you say; they remember how you make them feel. So I found out that, for example, you know when you watch a horror movie with someone, you kind of feel like you went through an experience together, and you feel closer at the end of it.
Can I cut you off for like 2 seconds?
Go ahead.
Me and Colby were just talking about when we watched the horror movie, like when we all watched the horror movie.
The one that was When They Come Knocking or something like that.
Yeah.
Remember that
Yeah.
I do.
with Nick?
Mhm.
Remember what happened after?
And the way you I made Colby cry.
Oh
Whoa,
my
whoa,
god!
whoa.
Yes, right. we turned off all the
Cry
lights,
is a generous.
We turned off all the
generous
lights.
tried that.
and Chris like pretended like he was like a demon, was like running towards Colby, and Colby freaked out. He wasn't like crying like he wasn't like a baby crying, but there were tears. There were tears.
I don't enjoy horror movies. I'm very afraid of them. So, and this one happened to be very scary.
I won't lie, it was a little
I don't know
scary.
what the name of the series was called, but it was called When They Come
It was
Knocking.
good. That's good.
Yeah, it's like the holiday one. It was on Hulu. It was basically like every holiday would have a horror
Yeah,
episode
no, it was,
Yeah.
for it.
those were really good. I think.
But
Anywho,
so, anyways, the whole point is,
Well, I think everyone was scared during that.
I
not
remember my
just-
dad walked
yeah,
in.
Yeah.
that was the
it was
scariest part.
It was like the quietest part of the movie, and now here's, and my dad just like barged in. We all freaked out. I don't think it was Nick. I think it was Andrew. Was it all of us?
It
I know-
was-
Andrew.
Andrew was there.
Andrew was
Andrew was
there.
there.
Andrew was there.
Yeah.
But so basically, back to like the whole with the first date thing. When you do something that accelerates your heart rate, like that is the same feeling that you get when someone is like, when you're like attracted to somebody, like like the butterflies they say or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So if you do an activity, like for example, if you go on a roller coaster with someone, you watch a horror movie with someone, and it gets their heart rate going, they will associate that feeling with you. That's why they say if you're taking, I actually learned this in my class this year. If you take a girl on a date to a movie, a horror movie's the best one.
I tried that and I failed.
How'd you fail?
Every date I've ever tried to go to like the movies, probably like 2 or 3, and I went 0 for 3. And I recommended horror movies all 3 times, and
They said no?
shot 0% from the field.
Yeah.
I went on a date. I was a sophomore in high school.
Not formal.
It was the fall, and as I said before, I don't like horror movies. And we were going to see a movie, and I asked her what movie she wanted to see, and she said she wanted to go see It,
Ooh,
Which-
you hated
which
that.
I hate that movie. Well, I hadn't seen it until I went on that date, and I went on that date, and I did not sleep very well for the next couple months after seeing that movie.
You know, it's like I actually did the Pennywise
Yeah.
like voice.
Hey, Georgie.
Yeah,
whatever.
You
I
also
can't
do that
do
to
it
scare me
anymore,
too.
That's what I did to scare.
So
me.
horror movies on a date are a big no-no for me.
That's a red flag for Colbert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
red flag. But all right, what is the best advice you would give to someone who's going on a first date?
I would say be yourself.
Oh yeah.
As a very generic answer, but like I would also to like elaborate on that and not make it super generic. I'd say be yourself in a way of when you go on a date, like for example, the date idea. Like we're from a small town, so it's easy. The amount of people that probably went to the mall and did either like one of the restaurants there or a movie. Every single girl in high school probably did that same one. So be yourself in a way of get to know the person and then take her somewhere that's not that everyone else in your
Something
town.
unique.
Yeah, something unique, and then I don't know, try to make it your own and make it memorable. I guess would be my advice.
I'd say try to be like special, like make her remember, like like that date I went on with him was like really fun. That's kind of a tough question, and I don't really have an answer besides that. I'm trying to think. Besides saying be yourself, yeah, because I think like you should like if it's someone that you're interested in, you're going on a date with, and you see yourself potentially dating them, you want to make sure like they know who you are. Like you don't want to go on a couple dates with them and they think you're someone you're not. You don't want to put on this like mask while you're on a date to try to look cool to impress them. Just show them who you are, so that way they know who they're going out with.
I would also maybe throw in just try to avoid obviously touchy subjects, but you can ask.
Who did you vote for?
Well, yeah, like stuff like that.
I would
Unless
keep that out of it.
yeah, but like just I don't know, try to see if you can. You want to utilize the time that you have and actually try to get to know this person to the best of your ability to actually see. Because if it's your first date, you might know her like barely, and you might just be going off looks or something like that. But you want to be able to know if like you want to pursue and actually dating her, and you should be able to get at least an understanding off the first date if you utilize your time and talking well, but also don't push the boundaries and get like into like deep stuff, just like
Yeah.
the outskirts.
It's like a sales pitch of yourself.
Sure.
The elevator,
No, I'm
basically.
kidding.
Can you sell
But
it?
I'm gonna give a disclaimer for the be yourself thing. You should be yourself, but just know that if you're yourself and they don't like that, it's not gonna help you. But I guess it gives you an answer early on.
But if you're yourself and they don't like that, that's not something you should be with anyway.
That is true. That is true. But at the same time, I think the best advice that I would give is one, be very assertive in the date. Do not ask where they want to go, what they want to do, because all they'll say is up to you. Like, for example, where do you want to go out to eat? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Don't make them choose. Just pick it. It'd be better off that you say, hey, let's go here at this time, this day, than giving them a bunch of options.
Actually, I when you first said be assertive, I was a little iffy. But then when you explained it, because I feel like if you're asking a girl on a date and you're just like, hey, where do you want to go? And she's like, I don't know, you pick. And then you're like, well, I don't know. She might think like, oh, he doesn't really care about me. But if you say to a girl, I'm picking you up this time, taking you this place, we're gonna do this, that, and then I'll drop you off. She's gonna think like, oh, like he
knows what he wants.
He thought about this. He knows what he wants. He put some thought into taking me out, and she'll appreciate that.
Yes.
I agree. That's kind of what I was tiptoeing around in like all my answers of like be unique in the sense and don't bring her to the generic places. Like you should I thought this was gonna be a later question, but I 100% agree.
So next thing we're gonna do, it's kind of like a quick round, quick game-ish.
Oh.
So I'm gonna say, should a guy do this on the first date? And then I'm gonna name something, and you're gonna take turns saying they should or they shouldn't.
You have to explain why or no?
We can explain why after we
Alright,
do
alright.
it. If anyone that like piques your interest
Yeah.
more. All right. So should a guy do this on the first date? Pay for the meal.
Yes. In my opinion.
Yeah, especially if it was his idea, then I would say yeah.
Pick the girl up.
Yes.
I'd offer, but I wouldn't take it as like a hard no if she says no. I wouldn't rule yourself out. As specifically if you can't drive.
Well, yeah. If I'll just say this now quickly. If it's someone you know, like yeah, pick them up. But if you don't know this person, you only know them through like social media, she's probably just gonna want to meet you there because she doesn't know like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
she don't
that's
know
true.
if you're some. So
Freak.
it might be better to just
Yeah.
meet there.
I agree.
Take her to the movies.
For the younger viewers, I would say that's okay, but for the more mature viewers, I'd say don't do that.
Yeah, I can get behind that. We've talked about movies like the majority of this podcast, so
All right. Take her to a fancy restaurant.
I'd say not on the first date. No.
I also agree.
Mention the second date.
No. I'd say you go on the first date, you enjoy your time, and then you kind of let like whatever you go home after, you kind of let all the emotions set in, and then maybe the next day you say like, hey, I had a great time with you. Hopefully we can go out a second time or something like that. Don't mention it like you shouldn't be thinking about that while you're on the first date. You should just be in the moment enjoying your first date with the person.
I agree, but I would also expand on that and say like if I don't think it'd be a bad thing to say if you're talking about something and she talks about how she went somewhere, you'd be like, oh, that seems fun. I've never been. Maybe you can like, you don't actually say like, oh, we should do that. You know what I mean? But like tiptoe around the idea and maybe get her to see if it's a good way to pick up if she likes you back or not. Maybe she can say like, oh, I can bring you. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So I might tiptoe around the idea, but I wouldn't make it stupidly obvious. And I definitely wouldn't go out of my way and say, hey, round two or
Oh.
ready for round two or no? But so last one, ask her where she wants to go.
This kind of goes back to what
We
we
did
were
mention
just talking about. I'd say yes, it's good to ask where she wants to go, but also like Chris said, and like I was touching upon, like she might find that like she'll appreciate. She also might find it attractive if you're like, I'm taking you here, 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 and we're gonna like the fact that you thought about her and like taking her out and trying to give her a good time, she'll definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, I would say you should try to decide and come up with something unique that would like fit best for you two. But then if she's like, nah, then you could be like, all right, so like, what do you want to do?
All right.
Yeah.
But to touch on the mention the second date one, I think that's something that the girl should do. If a girl wants to make it aware that she had fun on that date with the guy, because most of the time the guy's asking the girl out. It's like the guy's asking the girl to go out, and the girl's basically saying yes or no. So the dates are determined by the girl. If the girl says, like, if she mentions or hints at the idea of a second date on the first one, then it's already a signal to the guy of, hey, I know she wants to go on a second one. And I think that's like the best way to basically show to the guy that I had fun. Because sometimes it's hard. Because when you're going on a date with someone, even if you're having a bad time, you're going to pretend like you're having a good time
Yeah.
just to get through it.
Especially a first date.
Exactly. So I think mentioning or hinting at, like, for example, let's say you're talking about like mini golf. Like, oh yeah, like I would love to go mini golfing with you sometime, or something like that. Like, oh yeah, maybe we should do that next time. Like something like that would definitely be like a huge sign or a hint to the guy of like, oh, like that's something I should do with her next time.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I agree.
But all right, well, I think we can wrap it up. Is there anything that you guys want to say before?
There are no free ads on the Kunyakai podcast, as you can tell by the Rapperless water bottles.
No, I have no concluding thoughts.
right,
it was fun though. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Can we shout out Nick's podcast?
Oh, well, I was gonna do it like the next time when I have him on. But if you're a Yankee fan, go watch The Truth, The Sports Truth.
Wow, doesn't even know his cousin's podcast.
I'm gonna be honest. I watched it. I've never actually.
That's a
heard the
damn
name, though.
shame.
I remember JC in The Truth. I remember that, but I don't remember the name of his new one. But Sports Truth, follow him on TikTok. He does a lot of sports stuff. WST Media, that's another thing too. He does wrestling too.
Yes.
But I think we can call it a day. Remember, movies, hit or miss. Make sure that you pay for the meal, and make sure that you do some activity to get the heart racing. Research show that's a good thing to do.
I would still like to see this study.
I will find it. I will find it.
And be yourself.
Be yourself. Yes.
Some of you should be yourself. But anyways,
Well-
it's episode 4, Kunyakai. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and follow. Have a good one.
We're out.
Strike hard, strike first, no mercy.
Mic drop.
Think that.